Good afternoon, Mountain View United Methodist. I come to you this afternoon with a sensitive subject, and I felt a video was a way for me to personally connect with you on the subject. As many of you know, finances have been a hardship at the church, and as the year winds down, we are getting a picture of what next year will be like. And unfortunately, we are going to be coming up quite short of where we have been. So I will be honest that this is a plea that if you haven't turned in your estimate of giving cards, to please do so. Those are meaningful to us. That helps us create a budget. It helps us define our parameters of what we think will come in and how we can best honor and spend your gifts and use those for ministry and to the glory of God. And it helps us know what we can afford to do. So those are very meaningful. Right now, we have 36 estimate of giving cards that have been turned in. Last year, we received 48 estimate of giving cards, and we are down in our pledges about $100,000. So we have $100,000 less pledged for this year. Budget cuts are being and have been made. So as you can see, it is going to be a difficult year for us as a church. And so I'm pleading with you, if you can, to turn in those estimate of giving cards. No amount is too small. We are asking you to give what you can. Some of you I know can give 10%, and some of us can't. And that is okay. That the information that you put on those estimate of giving cards is kept very private. I do not see those cards. All I know is the number of cards collected and the amount that they add up to. No one else sees those cards. They are kept very private, and I want you to know that we take your privacy very seriously. But at this point, we are coming up quite short, and it is worrisome for me as your pastor as I think about navigating our church through the next year and how we will do ministry. So any amount is fine. If you don't want to do a estimate of giving card, if you don't like your giving tract, please just give to your church. I can promise you, out of all the years that you have been attending Mountain View, this is the year that we probably need it the most, because these are some of the most difficult and troubling times we have seen as a church. And right now, we're still in the thick of it. Now, I'm hopeful that once we return to in-person worship, which eventually will happen, our giving will go up. But if you aren't giving because we're not in worship, please reconsider that. We still are using funds. We're still doing what we can to minister to you. I realize that online church and online Bible study isn't as connective as being there in person. Trust me, I know. I would much rather be able to be in worship with you. But when it is safe, we will be back. That is going to happen. It's just taking a little bit more time than I think any of us ever thought it would. And as I said yesterday, we're not the only church that is worshiping virtually right now. There are many others alongside us. So I want to close this video with a verse from Mark. This is Mark chapter 12, and it is verses 41 through 44. Jesus went over to the collection box in the temple and sat and watched as the crowds dropped in their money. Many rich put in large amounts, and then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 pennies. He called his disciples to him and said, "I assure you, this poor widow has given more than all the others have given, for they gave a tiny part of their surplus, but she, poor as she is, has given everything she has." That is to say to you that the amount doesn't necessarily matter. What we really need right now are your honest gifts and your honest, heartfelt support. We need it financially. There is absolute truth in that. But we also need it spiritually. We need your prayers. We need your presence in online worship. We need your encouragement right now, because as a staff, there are many times that we can feel isolated, just as isolated as you do. We are not built to do this on video. We're built to do this in person. And so we feel just as connected and long to be in worship just as much, maybe more than you do at some times. So I ask that you would consider giving, that you would consider turning in those estimate of giving cards. It is not too late. We have not yet solidified the budget, so we can continue to receive those, and that you would consider this prayerfully. Thank you.